So I made $200 off this Trump weekly mention market on the left-hand side here on Kalshi, and it was from one word, Bibi, which is Bibi Netanyahu. And it wasn't just a random guess though. So I actually used this Karpathy-style knowledge wiki system to the right-hand side. So this is the system that's been going absolutely viral on Twitter. This thing's got 6.2 million views. The original one had, I think, like 18 million views. And it organized the context and figured out that Bibi was a real live candidate that was worth bidding. And honestly, I think that's why these AI-based systems matter so much right now, building them, because we're moving to this world where the edge is just not who has access to the information, because all the information is now public. You can have agents scrape it easily. Is who can structure it, remember it, and then reason over it faster than other people can. And most people look at the markets like this and think that it's vibes and intuition, and that definitely plays a role, obviously, into it. But when you actually build out a real knowledge system for your domain, now this is trading, but it could be for marketing, sales, whatever, you stop reacting randomly and you start seeing how ideas connect before other people do. So a couple days ago, I set this up, and then I have it consistently checking daily for different sources of information that it ingests and then analyzes to see if words are mispriced or if there's any opportunities there. And so obviously, because of the Iran war, there's been a lot of things happening about Trump, Middle East, Bibi, Iran, and Netanyahu, and terms like that. And they're all connected. And so it actually gave me the idea, based off the information it ingested, to bid specific ranges. And so it said above 90, don't bid it because it's too confident. But then lower resting limit orders here, 20 to 40 cents, try filling it there. And so then I did that, and it filled, and then Trump actually said the word.
Those two instances, and if they did, in my opinion, I told this to Bibi Netanyahu yesterday.
So how these mention markers work is that as soon as the person says it, the word goes to 100%, because obviously they said it, so there's a 100% chance that the word was said in the event. And so it was actually below this, and the Kalshi's graph doesn't show it, but my orders filled at, I think, 20s or 15 and 20, yeah, I've said two of them, and it immediately went to 100. So because he said the word, it went to 100% of him, chance of him saying yes. So let me go over a little bit more of how the actual Wiki-style system works, because this is actually the important part, which is I have this system that every day it looks at the mention markets. This is my just initial system, but every day it follows the exact same source that Karpathy lists out here in his thing and in his tweet. And it looks at A, what events were said in the past, records information for that. B, it looks at random news sources online. So for example, recently it added stuff about things about Iran here, and then strength strong, medium, and this is just a first pass, but it's pretty interesting because it looks at official news sources and then adds this, and then it also looks at some other things as well. So, and then it creates this analysis for each term saying when to bid. And again, this doesn't mean it's perfect. It just means this is estimating probability. And this is also a first pass at the system. And so here it says, this week, April 6th to 13th, Iran War Week 6, press conference schedule, top row applies. Yes, up to 85 cents is fair. So it gives an analysis, and that's what I'm using for all the terms in this market to bid or not to bid, and where to place the limit orders. And so the one I followed here was this, like leaving the resting limit orders between 20 and 40. And it said that was EV plus. So it doesn't mean it's going to hit, obviously, or he's going to say it. It just means that it thinks it's a good chance of doing it between there. And that's exactly what I did. So it takes the information I gave it, and then it pulls consistently based off a routine, ingests the information into these markdown files, and then makes an updated analysis based off the new information, which is exactly what I would do if I was looking at this myself. So instead of prompting it from scratch and just like chatting with the AI agent, it actually just followed its own reasoning and then decided, hey, based off everything I've seen, this has an X amount of probability, and these are the confidence levels I see for the different ranges. So that turned into a real trade here, like I said before. And so I set the limit orders, and someone sold into it, and then it sold when Trump said the word. So it made about $200 in total. And it's not because the system knew the future, but because the information was already organized before the market actually caught up to it. So if you're new here, I'm the prediction engineer. I help builders and operators design AI systems that actually work in production, and then I use the prediction markets and also stuff like Hyperliquid, like perps, as a real-world stress test for whether those systems actually hold up or not. And to me, that's the exciting part, because I think that's what happens when you stop using AI like a chatbot and then start using like a thinking partner connected to a real memory system. And I like using things like that Karpathy-style tweets and just random things I see in the wild on Twitter, and then try to apply them to these things because I'm trying to get better as well. So I think this is actually just bigger than one trade though. And it's the kind of system that this is applied to mention markets and prediction markets, but it could be applied to anything. It could be applied to sales. If you have, for example, calls with people, and then you can reference, hey, this person knows this person, and make an analysis saying like, hey, maybe I should name drop this person in sales or in marketing and content creation, pretty much anything. Like anything where the real bottleneck is making sense of the information you already have. So if you're wondering how to get started, it's actually much simpler than people think. And you don't need some massive setup for this. You literally can just go to this Karpathy Twitter, and he links to his own little guide here, and you just give this GitHub link to Claude Code and say, hey, go build this for me based off of what I want it to do. So like if you're in sales, say, hey, here's some sales calls I have, transcripts, and build this knowledge information for me. And you don't have to like even tell it what to do, because you literally just pass this link to it and say, go build it for me in Claude Code. So my advice for this would be just to start simple, like just give it the information, say, hey, build a system that can help me do X, which X depends on your domain, but whatever it is, tell Claude Code to go do that. Give it a bunch of transcripts, all the random documents you think could be useful for the AI to learn from, and then also tell it, hey, update this once a day according to some rules that I have. And that's really the shift, because you're not just collecting notes anymore, you're building this system that helps you think better over time. If you want more detail on what this actually is or how to get started building one, check out my last video from before, because I go more into it, the breakdown of the knowledge wiki itself and the basic setup behind it. But the biggest lesson is that AI is just not about prompts anymore. It used to be, now it's not. It's about building better memory and having the systems, and the people who learn to build these systems now are gonna have a real edge going forward. So if you could turn that noise into structure, and then the structure into reasonings, and then take the reasonings, put them into action, whatever that is for your domain, sometimes that literally just turns into money. And that's why I think people should be building these knowledge systems right now to help them. But if you've been using these, let me know in the comments. I'm still learning this as well, so I'd like to learn from other people. What domains you're using them for, what are the rules, any pitfalls you've had. So I wouldn't say I've had trouble with this, but one of the things I've noticed while doing this the last couple of days has been, it's been a lot of work to set this up, specifically the data ingestion part. But now that I have it pulling from specific sources, and I whitelisted some specific news domains, that's made it much easier. So the initial setup can be a little challenging if you want the full end-to-end data crawling, but that's the only thing I've really noticed. I really like this. It's really lightweight, and it's obviously been working for me so far, and I plan on using it for other domains as well in trading. So let me know in the comments if you've been using this as well and any lessons you have, and I will see you guys in the next episode.